So I am here to do a quick video, Hurricane Irma update. Um, First of all, hair in my mouth. I want to go ahead and apologize. I look like crap, but I've had a long night. So where do we start? Okay, so if you're not following this or whatever, I don't think I've ever talked about this on this channel. But I'm originally from North Carolina, and I am from a very small town who had very significant effects last year from Hurricane Matthew. We had flooding. In my particular case, where I was, we were flooded in our home. Well, not in our home. Thankfully, our home didn't get any flood, but the neighborhood around us, we had significant flooding. We were flooded in for a week. We had no power for about 5 days, and we had about 3 days with no water. They cut off the water about the second day. Basically, one of the water treatment plants, they couldn't guarantee that the water was safe, so they had to shut off all water. And even weeks after, we were under a boil advisory. So moving here to Orlando was something that I wanted my entire life. Here recently, I shouldn't say entire life, but yes. So I was super, grateful to be here. When we got the notification of Hurricane Irma, we just watched it, and it just kind of brought out this fear in me. Like, everyone around me didn't seem too concerned, but I was the nervous ninny and panicked because I was like, I am not going to go through what I went through with Matthew again. I'm just not, because that week was hell. It was hell. It was like living The Walking Dead, and I promise you, I would know. I don't ever wanted to do it. I don't ever want to do it again. So I may have been over prepared. So if I have my drink here, so anyways, so about 4 or 5 days ago, I started storing up ice because I wanted to make sure that we could keep our food cold. I wanted to make sure that we could keep our water cold in case we needed it, and make sure we could move our things to the freezer if need be. We buy our meat in bulk at Costco. It just is better for us. So we have like $60 worth of meat in our freezer that I did not want to go bad. So I have been saving ice out of our ice maker. So I have 5-gallon size Ziploc bags full of ice in my freezer. The one thing that I didn't manage to find in time was I wanted to get a little propane grill for in the event we needed to cook food or heat food, because I'm extremely picky, and I know this about myself. I don't like cold food. I like, sandwiches is one thing, but like cold chicken or cold pizza or cold like food, I personally cannot eat it. It just, like canned vegetables, like if you eat, I can't eat them raw. I can't. It just makes me want to throw up. And that's just my personal thing. I'm not saying I wouldn't if it was the only thing I had to eat, but if it's my preference, if I can do something about it to heat it up, I would rather. So I had no problem finding a tabletop grill, but there was no propane, so I was not paying $50 for a grill that I couldn't use. So then I thought, well, I'll go to Amazon. We are Prime members. I could prime the actual cook piece, but I couldn't prime the fuel. The fuel wouldn't have got here until today, which, quite frankly, I was like, it's neither here nor there. Because anyway, so I live in Central Florida, I live in the west side of Orange County in Orlando, and all week long we had seen it start kind of to the east, and then it moved way, way, way west. So it's kind of like one of those storms where the entire week I had such bad anxiety because I just didn't know where it was going to go. And kind of when even up until last night, there was still some questions about where it may go. So all, the weather reports, I had to think of the right word there, were saying that Orlando should feel or our Central Florida should just start seeing the worst of the effects, because we were feeling it all day yesterday. when it came ashore in Naples, because of just how big the storm is, the entirety of Hurricane Irma was bigger than the state of Florida. So when it came ashore in Naples, we were feeling like gusts and winds and rains um, here in Central Florida. We were not supposed to get like the worst part of it until around 10 o'clock to around 2, 3 in the morning. Then at about 11 or 11:30ish, they started talking about how the eye, instead of going in a northwestern towards towards Tampa and St. Pete, which is the bottleneck or whatever right there, it started going just straight north, which put it crossing into Orlando almost dead eye. So we were getting hurricane eye. So where we were expecting just outside of the eye, now we're expecting eye. So me and my sister decided we decided this yesterday. We were gonna stay up through the bulk of it, because part of me considered taking a NyQuil and sleeping through the thing, but I was terrified that because the one thing that they said with us being on the western side of the storm, we were at a higher risk for tornadoes, and I don't play with tornadoes. Hurricane, wind and rain, I'll be all right. I can figure something out. But tornadoes, instant, I won't play them with that. So Aaron and I stayed up, and thankfully we did not lose power. We have our power still. Everything is, our water is working, our power is on. It did blink off and on about 2 or 3 times, but as soon as it blinked off, it blinked right back on. We are in the same area as Universal, so I'm told that because we're kind of on the same power grid as a theme park, that may be why we still have power, but I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I know there are plenty of people in Central Florida who do not have power. My heart goes out to them, I know, but I am extremely thankful that we are okay, everything we have. Minus there was one tree that did fall on a car in our parking lot. It was not my car, thankfully. But I just am extremely thankful that we are still here and that everything is good, and that, me and Aaron are safe. Nothing happened. And I just wanted to come on and give you guys that update and let you guys know that we are fine. We are good. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done. As of right now, we are expecting, Aaron works for Disney World, so they are expecting them to be open tomorrow. So hopefully the roads between here and there are not so bad. But if we have to shelter in place, we at least have our power and stuff. And I know it's silly to say that, but I'm glad that, I could be all right without power, to be honest, as long as there's water, because I was fine in Matthew without power, but when they cut the water off is when I was about to just, it made it so much worse, because we were flooded in and we had no help from anyone. So we were like, okay, we really got strict on our water. We were running out of food because we had not prepared at all the way we probably should have, because we were told Matthew was not going to be a big deal. But because it just didn't turn, it just stayed and just rained and rained and rained and rained. We were in a similar situation to what Hurricane Harvey people are in. We had flooding and it was horrible. But all things considered, we were very blessed. I'm very thankful that we are okay. And I just wanted to come on here and wish everyone out there who may be watching this on a mobile device or anything like that, my thoughts and prayers are out to you. We are a community, and I am so thankful that we have each other to lean on. So I will